Hello students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello everybody, and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We begin our American government series by looking at the foundations of government. Don't forget that there's a link for a fill-in-the-blank worksheet in the description. I just ask that you like and subscribe. I apologize for any mispronunciations ahead of time. I do my best. Okay, let's go. Imagine government as the ultimate decision-making machine, like a referee with 3 special whistles. One for making the rules, legislative power, one for enforcing them, executive power, and one for playing judge when things go haywire, judicial power. The rule book? That's the Constitution, a fancy guidebook that tells the government how to do its job without tripping over itself. Now picture a dictatorship as a one-man show, where one guy hogs all 3 whistles and doesn't let anyone else play. Meanwhile, in a democracy, everyone in the crowd gets a say in how the game is run. Pretty chaotic, but hey, that's freedom for you. The world is divided into states, which are basically real estate packages with people, borders, and governments. Every state comes with 4 must-have features. A population, because duh, land to call home, sovereignty, fancy word for we're the boss here, and a government to keep things in line. There are 4 main theories about how these states came to be. 1. Force theory. Someone came in, flexed their muscles, and everyone else just went along with it. 2. Evolutionary theory. Families were like, hey, Grandpa Joe is already bossing us around, let's just make him the official leader. 3. Divine right of kings. The ultimate royal excuse. God said I could do this. 4. Social contract theory. Everyone decided, okay, we'll trade a little freedom for safety and a functioning society. Deal? And in the US, the government's goals are like a checklist from the preamble. Keep the states united, serve up justice, maintain peace at home, defend the country, promote general good vibes, and make sure liberty sticks around for future generations. No pressure, right? Governments are like ice cream. You can classify them in 3 different ways, depending on your flavor. First up, there's the who gets to play classification. In a democracy, the people are the head honchos. You've got indirect democracy, where the people pick some VIPs to handle the heavy lifting. In the US, some folks argue it's more of a republic because we vote for reps and then they do the actual political cartwheeling. Democracy or republic, either way, we're all in the peanut gallery yelling suggestions. On the flip side, dictatorships are like that one person at a party who controls the playlist, the food, and whether you can leave. They're all about holding the power and telling everyone else what to do. If the dictatorship is really extra, it's called totalitarianism, where the rulers micromanage every detail, right down to what color socks you wear. Variations include autocracy, one-person show, oligarchy, VIP members only, or theocracy, where the law gets its orders straight from the holy hotline. The second type of classification is all about geography, like asking who runs the show and from where. In a unitary government, there's one super central office running everything. Think of it as a control freak government. In a federal system, you've got a power-sharing arrangement. Central government handles the big stuff, while local governments handle the little things. The US is like this, with power divvied up between the feds and the states. If you're into teamwork, there's confederation, where states form an alliance but still do their own thing, like a loose group project. Lastly, there's the power struggle between the legislative and executive branches. In a presidential system, power is split up like a pie, with each branch getting its slice. Meanwhile, in a parliamentary system, the legislative branch basically hires the executive branch. So if things go south, the executive can get a pink slip from Parliament. So it's kind of like being a boss and an employee at the same time. Democracy's roots are ancient, sprouting up in Greece around 700 to 800 BC, when the Athenians thought, hey, why not let people have a say in this? Meanwhile, in Rome, they invented the Republic, which is like democracy's cousin who prefers to hire representatives to do all the voting legwork. Things were going great until the Roman Empire took a nosedive, and Europe basically hit the reset button on organized government. Enter feudalism, where powerful lords turned Europe into a giant land-sharing app with lesser lords as their tenants. By the time the Middle Ages wrapped up, Europe was ready for a makeover. The commercial revolution kicked off, towns popped up, and people started trading money instead of just land. Monarchs saw dollar signs in these new towns and grabbed all the power they could, making feudalism a thing of the past by the late 1400s. These monarchs loved their sovereignty, which basically meant they were the boss. But just saying you're the boss doesn't mean everyone buys it. To really rule, you need legitimacy, which is when people believe you actually have the right to make the rules. Some monarchs claimed they had a direct line to God, divine right of kings, while others used their charismatic charm. The best governments, though, get their legitimacy by sticking to the rule of law. Then came colonialism, where one country decided it would be fun to collect lands abroad like Pokemon cards. This led to mercantilism, where monarchs hoarded money to boost their power, while merchants happily cashed in. Finally, the Enlightenment was like the ultimate think tank for modern government ideas. John Locke said, "Hey, we've got natural rights." Thomas Hobbes chimed in with his social contract theory. Adam Smith and David Ricardo gave monarchs the side-eye for hoarding wealth, while Voltaire championed reason, freedom of religion, and scientific thinking. Montesquieu suggested separating government powers, and William Blackstone believed legal decisions should be based on past cases, because hey, history has some pretty good ideas. The American concept of democracy is like a 5-step recipe for freedom pie. 1. Each person is special. Everyone has worth, kind of like how every weird potato chip in the bag still deserves to be eaten. 2. Everyone's equal. No one gets a VIP pass in this democracy, even if they think they should. 3. Majority rules, but the majority runs the show, but they've got to be nice and respect the rights of the minority, because hey, nobody likes a bossy majority. 4. Compromise is key. Democracy loves a good compromise, so everyone has to mix and match ideas like it's a buffet. And 5. Freedom for all. Everyone should have as much freedom as possible, just short of turning society into a chaotic circus. Being an American citizen comes with some homework. You've got duties, like following the law, yes, even speed limits, and responsibilities, which basically mean you have to respect the democratic principles you signed up for. Now, if democracy were a dessert, the U.S. economic system would be the side of free enterprise ice cream, also known as capitalism. Here, people own stuff, make stuff, and sell stuff all on their own, with no government hand-holding. The magic of the system is the law of supply and demand. When there's lots of something, prices drop like a sale at a department store. But when things get scarce, prices rise like movie theater popcorn. Okay, now, to recap, imagine government as the ultimate referee with 3 whistles. One for making rules, legislative, one for enforcing them, executive, and one for judging disputes, judicial, all guided by a constitution, a fancy rule book that keeps things from going haywire. In a dictatorship, one person hogs all the whistles, while in a democracy, the crowd gets to chime in, making things chaotic but free. States are like real estate packages with people, land, and governments, each boasting sovereignty, fancy for, we're the boss here. From ancient Greece and Rome to the Enlightenment, ideas of democracy, republics, and capitalism evolved, blending power sharing with natural rights, law, and compromise. Democracy's recipe includes respecting everyone's worth, balancing majority rule with minority rights, and sprinkling in some good old free enterprise ice cream. Capitalism, where supply and demand run the show like a popcorn price roller coaster. There you have it, folks. That is Foundations of Government Nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History. Get foundational on 3 things for me today. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. That's all from me. I will see y'all next time on Nutshelled History.